good.
Anything? Any better? It's better? Should we check the other mic to be safe too? Testing, check the mic. Is it working? Good, thank you.
Good afternoon, sports fans. Welcome to the April 1st meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. No fooling, April 1st. We're glad to be back here at the Wakanda Club with all of those of you here in person and those out in cyberspace watching our live stream or potentially later on our YouTube channel. Welcome to all of you. We will be sanitizing the microphone between speakers. We do ask that you keep your mask on when not speaking or eating, drinking, or speaking into a microphone. Thanks to Invictus, as always, for providing our live stream service. And now, Randy Worth will give us a brief moment of inspiration, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test.
Thank you, President Doug. Over the past few weeks, the root message or the goals of our speakers, many of them have touched on guiding behavior. In my mind, setting a standard of character. And so character is kind of my focus today. How many of you remember a dictionary? All right, we've got an age variant here. All right. No wonder English was hard for me, because there's 8 different definitions of character, and that's just using it as a noun. And to make things worse, there's more than a couple if you use it as a verb. But anyway, some of them are, it can be a symbol or a mark. A person of odd or whimsical habit. I thought of a few of you when I read that one. Conduct conforms to a standard of right and wrong. A set of qualities that makes a person different than others. The form of a word, and then verbs, we won't even get into that. See if you agree with this brief life lesson. It does not matter what you look like. You can be tall, short, fat, thin, ugly, or handsome. You can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character. A life lesson from, anybody want to take a guess? Okay, Herman Munster from the TV show as he was guiding along young Eddie. I love it. I like their car even better, but I like that. So in light of the Easter holiday and the focus of that, the phrase of character and just what character mean leads me to my favorite definition of character that I believe is good for a youth or an adult. And it's how a person acts when no one else is watching. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Give them the Rotary wave.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Randy. Happy birthday wishes go out today to Kyle McCormick, who is our tireless program committee chair, who's, I'm sure, watching from home today. Thank you, Kyle, for all you do, for getting good, top-quality speakers in here every week, just like we have here today. And now, you're not going to hear me much longer, because we have Kathy Cody. Come on. Those of you live streaming, there's a bit of applause there. Kathy Cody is going to come up and have an announcement about the Community Service Committee. Kathy?
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for clapping for me. I appreciate that. That was awesome. Okay, I have a deal for you, so everybody get excited because it's been a long time since we had an in-person volunteer opportunity for Rotary, right? And we have one coming up. So I want to recap two things. If this plants a little seed of inspiration or maybe even guilt, it's okay. Plant two little reminders. About a year ago, probably more than a year ago, I think it was pre-pandemic, we did a community service survey among membership. And one of the strong themes that came out of that was that we all are interested in aligning some of our service opportunities with our grant recipient. So who's our wonderful grant recipient this year? The Des Moines Public Library Foundation. And secondly, we did a check-in about a month ago and said, so how's everybody feeling? Are you ready to volunteer again? And more than half of you who responded said, yes, if I'm available, I'm interested in volunteering again. So we're excited that the Des Moines Public Library has a volunteer opportunity for us. So on Friday, April 30th, it's going to be a beautiful sunny day, I'm just sure of it, from 4 to 6 p.m. at Birdland Park. They're doing this Dia del Nino. So those of you in the room have a flyer on your table. And what it is basically a bilingual literacy celebration for families. So there's going to be a bilingual story walk. There's going to be helper vehicles, police, firefighter vehicles there. There's going to be information available in Spanish about food pantries that families can pick up and other resources, goodie bags with healthy things in it for them. So the library is just looking for helpers, people who will help direct traffic, help guide the process, help hand out masks to people who didn't bring a mask and need a disposable mask. So our goal is to get 10 Rotary volunteers to help with this event. So we have 2 so far, so 8 spots available. So if you are interested and available, please email me. I'm sure Kitty can help you connect with me if you need to, but there was an announcement in our e-bulletin this week with my email address also, and need to know by Friday, April 16th if you're available and interested to help. So hopefully that sparks some interest for some of you, and look forward to it. Thanks.
Some of you out there have reached out to the Rotary office to ask about how to attend a meeting in person. Now that a lot of people are getting vaccinated, there's more interest in coming back to an in-person meeting, which we are delighted to hear. Well, let me tell you, it's very easy. It has to be easy because as I look around this room and see so many people with very limited skills, but yet you're able to navigate the process and to get here. Look, we've even got Kevin Kassir who's able to do it and sitting right up front. Thank you, Kevin. You do need to remember to sign up by Tuesday at noon for each week's meeting. You can do this from the standalone email that is sent out on Fridays. The Tuesday email does have a link, but that's for the following week's meeting, not the one that same week. The reason for this is we do have to turn in a head count to Wakanda here so they can go out and buy the groceries to serve us a fine lunch. And we can only do that if we get the proper head count in time so they can do their shopping. When you sign up online, there are 3 lists, which means absolutely nothing. Three groups, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter which group you sign up for. That's a template that our Club Runner software kicks out, and for some reason we can't seem to work around that. So please sign up and come to a live meeting. If you have any problems with your clicking finger, you can call Kitty at the office and she will help you and make sure you get signed up. And please remember, if you sign up and do not cancel by noon on Tuesday, you are still going to be charged for that lunch, and I will eat your lunch. And again, we are allowing prospective members to attend with a Rotarian with an RSVP advance. So if you have any friends, colleagues, acquaintances that you think might be interested in joining our club, please ask them and get them here. And once again, we're going to have to listen to Randy Worth as he's going to introduce our speaker today. But before he comes up, when it's time for questions, please come up to the front. And instead of using the microphone stand, Kitty's going to hand you a newly sanitized microphone so you can ask your question. Before you ask, please state your name so the people out in cyberspace can know who's asking the question. And also speak directly into the microphone. If you do not use the microphone correctly, you're going to get, well, the sign that Kitty's holding up. Safety yellow-green, telling you to how to use the microphone. So with that, now if Randy can stand back up, he can come up and introduce our speakers for today.
Thank you. Don't sit on the register. The heat's on. Whew. Just, okay. Well, it is my pleasure today to introduce our speaker, Tim Kirchmer, president of Sports World, and he has brought a special guest, Steve Grant, with him, and who he will introduce during his presentation. Like many of you that have introduced speakers before, you get their biography and and you don't memorize it, but you kind of go over it so you don't stumble over too many words. And it's about, their background and their family, and then particulars about their work and their passions come out during the presentation. When I got Tim's bio, what jumped off the page was first his passion and his gratitude for what he does and does. So I'm going to read it verbatim because you can't make it any better, right? Okay. After 30 years in business, working as an entrepreneur and later as an executive in a global 65 company, it is an overwhelming joy to bring that experience into my current role as president of Sports World, Inc. The sheer impact of knowing we get up each day to impact young lives has been life-changing for me. Having the opportunity to utilize my skills and experience to bring the sports world message of hope to our young children is both a humbling and incredibly rewarding experience. I've been married to my amazing wife, Lynn, for 30 years. We are blessed with 3 beautiful children, Robert, William, and Carolyn. My favorite downtime, I'm found cooking in the kitchen or at the grill, oftentimes relaxing after a round of golf. I quizzed him about that. I have dedicated the past 15 years as a football coach at both high school and college level. Please help me welcome Steve Kirchmer.
Thank you, Randy. Thank all of you, really. It's really a privilege to be here and speak to you. So, Kitty, thank you, and Doug. I'm going to introduce Steve in a few minutes, actually here pretty soon. But I just want to take you through who we are. As I was telling Doug, Iowa is a very active state for us, and I'll share that here in a little bit. But we are 43 years old. We've actually been incorporated for 52 years. But we've been bringing our program into schools for 43 years. We've impacted now over 20 million students, teachers, and coaches. The best way to share with you what we do is we have about a 5-minute video. We're big on videos. That way you don't have to listen to me that much. But I want to play this video to give you a good idea of who we are and some of the programs that we have and the way we have adapted our programs due to COVID.
Sports World, a nonprofit located in Indianapolis, sends professional athletes to share personal life experiences with students during school assemblies across the United States, helping them to recognize the consequences of their choices while challenging them with the message of hope. Topics during assemblies include anti-bullying, drugs, alcohol, depression, suicidal thoughts, and negative attitudes. The focus at Sports World is to help students see the value of making positive choices in their life, and they come alongside teachers and administrators, reinforcing what they are already teaching. Their focus is to show students they can choose a better way. Sports World, a nonprofit located in Indianapolis, sends professional athletes to share personal life experiences with students during school assemblies across the United States, helping them to recognize the consequences of their choices while challenging them with the message of hope. Topics during assemblies include anti-bullying, drugs, alcohol, depression, suicidal thoughts, and negative attitudes. The focus at Sports World is to help students see the value of making positive choices in their life, and they come alongside teachers and administrators, reinforcing what they are already teaching. Their focus is to show students they can choose a better way.
Dare to dream a dream. But a dream without action is nothing more than a nightmare, wasted potential. That means this morning, you can dream about becoming a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, homemaker, engineer, the next great athlete, actor, or actress. But if you never wake up from that dream and make it a reality, it is nothing more than a nightmare, wasted potential.
But here's the other thing I want you to understand. And this is very important. And that is the choices that we make. I'm sorry. Madam, Mr. Principal, did I just say we? I said we, right, teacher? Yeah, because watch this. That include me. That include you, your teachers, your parents, your crew, your boo, everybody. Yeah, the choices that we make, everybody, they affect other people, period. Yeah, what we do not only affects us, but it affects everybody around us.
And you think that you want fame and you want fortune and you want that, but no one ever tells you about the other side of fame and fortune. No one ever tells you about the downside. And really the downside is that you don't know who your friends are, and you don't really have a clear identity of yourself, because people are always complimenting you and telling you how great you are. So you go a long way on compliments and fame, but it gets really, 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 really lonely.
Why that happened, so hopefully you could hear it. But it kind of gives you a good overview of the programs that we've implemented and the impact that we're making on our young people. We have about 12 former professional athletes across all sports. We have Olympians, we have football. Our founder actually was responsible for the chaplaincy program for the NFL and the AFL back in the 70s, which is why our roots are particularly deep with football. Number 59 down there is actually standing back here, Steve Grant. And I was asked, I always like to introduce Steve, and I could read a bunch of stuff, but the best way to introduce Steve is to let you meet Steve this way.
watching that video with me. If you notice the priority of my life, my faith, my family, and my career. And those are my three beautiful sons. Oh, you want to lift it up? Well, let me get out here. Okay, so my name is Steve Grant. I played 6 years with the Indianapolis Colts. I finished my career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I graduated from that institution of higher learning, West Virginia University, and I graduated with a 4.0 GPA. Yes, a 4.0. Thank you for that. My freshman year, I averaged a 1.0. My sophomore year, I averaged a 1.0. My junior year, I averaged a 1.0. My senior year, I averaged a 1.0, a perfect 4.0 GPA. Yes. And I'm currently from outside of Dallas, Texas. If you notice in the video, that was 50 pounds ago. And if you notice, a lot of the young speakers, they didn't have gray hair, all right? I have a lot of gray hair. But back then, I had a 9-pack. Now I got a pillow, okay? But it's okay, because my wife likes it. I am what you call the elder statesman. I've been speaking with sports world for 20 years. I've spoken as far south as Key West High School in Key West, Florida, as far north as North Pole High School in Alaska, where it was 20 below zero. The only state that I have not spoken in is Hawaii. I'm trying to get my boss to send me there, but he don't want to pay for me to go. But I'm trying to get there. Sports world. Why have I been with sports world for 20 years? Simply, it's about influence. It's about having an impact upon this young generation. I never forget this saying that I heard many years ago. It says, a man's call to greatness or a woman's call to greatness is usually to make another man or woman great. And at that time when I heard that, it made no sense to me because society taught me, Steve, if you're going to be successful, it's about me, myself, and I. And if you want the material things of this world, you got to go get it. And if anybody gets in your way, you got to deal with them. But when I heard that a man's call to greatness or a woman's call to greatness is usually to make another man or woman great, I understood the importance of influence and impact. Each and every one of us, at some point in our lives, someone has impacted us. Whether it was a parent, a grandparent, a teacher, a coach, someone has influenced our lives. And we would not be who we are today if it wasn't for the influence of other people in our lives. I'm going to give you a quick example, then I'm going to turn the mic back over. My oldest son, in the middle, his name is Michael. My sons were athletes. They just took the gene. And I tried to get them to play football. They started out, but somehow, one by one, they told their mom, I don't want to play football anymore. All right? It crushed me. But they were pretty good athletes, so they played basketball. So if you have a son or a daughter who plays club sports or a granddaughter, grandson that plays club sports, your life is basically over. Every weekend we were on the road, we were traveling. So my son was a pretty good basketball player, and he traveled with Team Nike, and we went to most of his games. They was coming to the end of one season. They played a tournament in Houston. They made it to the championship game. After the game, we were riding back home, driving back to Dallas. I said, son, hey, this is the off season. These are the things that you need to work on. I'm dad. He heard me, but he really didn't hear me, but he heard me, but he really didn't hear me. I'm dad. All right? And so the next day, the coach calls all the players into a meeting, and he meets with them individually. All right? He hands my son a piece of paper. He calls me on the phone and says, hey, Dad, are you home? I said, yeah. He said, I'll be there in about 10, 15 minutes. So he walks into the house. He said, Dad, let's go to the gym. I said, why? He said, hey, there's some things I need to work on. So he handed me the sheet of paper that the coach handed him, and exactly everything that I said was on that sheet of paper. And so that's when I understood the power of impact and influence. And so what we do as sports world speakers, we simply, watch this, we simply repeat your values, and your beliefs. Now, as a father, I could have been offended because my son didn't listen to me, but for whatever reason, these students all across America will listen to a complete stranger, and everything that we say, you've already said. And we just come right behind you and reinforce your beliefs and your values. But for whatever reason, for 40 to 45 minutes, they tend to listen to us. And I can tell you countless stories of young people's lives that have been impacted because of something that was said in a 40 to 45 minute message. And so that's the impact, that's the platform of athletics that we have. Now, we know what the NFL stands for. Tim, you can come back. We understand what the NFL stands for. It doesn't stand for National Football League. It stands for not for long. and because it stands for not for long, then when we come into a situation, we give that student athlete or the students something other than athletics to hold their hat on. And I did graduate from West Virginia University, not with a 4.0, but with a 3.0. And back then, you know, football was everything. And somehow you had to try to balance life. So, hey, listen, we're going to go ahead towards the end. If you got any other questions as it relates to Steve Grant and Sports War Ministry towards the end, we will both be up here to take questions. And even afterwards, we'll be in the back. Hey, thank you for your time. Thank you for having us today. And we hope we can continue to make a difference in your state. Thank you.
We just have a few minutes, so I'm going to go rather quickly. I just want to elaborate a little bit on exactly how our programs work. Pre-pandemic, our normal program, we would bring an awesome speaker like Steve into your community for 3 days to talk to his Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern Time, one of our pros goes live on social media for 60 to 90 minutes just talking to kids. Every Tuesday and Thursday night at 7:30. And it's streamed not just on TikTok, it's streamed simultaneously on YouTube, on Vimeo, on Instagram, on Twitter, and all the other apps. And it's very cool. We've impacted almost 24,000 young people since January 1st on those social media live events. Give back video, you kind of saw that. We did some inspirational videos. We gave it to schools all over the country to play for their students. These were messages to say, don't let COVID get you down. Don't let it steal your dream. You can get through it. To date, we've had almost 40,000 students across the country that have watched that video. That was a gift that we gave to schools. We're doing the same thing with principals and teachers. You couldn't hear the audio, but our pros are sending personal emails to principals in schools, encouraging them and thanking them, telling them we love them and we appreciate everything that they're doing to get through this difficult time. Best Life and Triple Play programs I'm not going to get into because we don't have time, but we have recently launched a social emotional learning solution for schools and school districts. It's a year-long curriculum-based behavioral assessment program that involves our pro speakers all throughout the year. That's just Triple Play is part of that SEL solution where we've brought our program, we've combined it with Remedy Live, whose video you saw that deals with the mental health side of young people, and Lions Lead is that behavioral assessment program. What are we really trying to do? we're working to see students experience pain relief. We don't want them to feel hurt. We don't want them physical and emotional hurt. We don't want them to self-medicate. We're trying to help them understand that that's not the solution. We want them to find peace, right, from anxiety and worry. And apprehension is off the chart right now, everybody. It's off the chart. Normally, in a normal student population in a school, high apprehension scores would be about in a 30% range. We're seeing 77%. We want to help them find a place to belong, a purpose. Who am I? Why am I here? And really, most importantly, we want them to find that passion. We want to build that confidence. Steve alluded to the fact that, kids will communicate with us. You saw a slide with a young lady standing next to our pro. She was going to commit suicide when he spoke at her school 2 years before that. And when he came back, she came up to him and wanted him to know that it was his message that prompted her not to make that decision. So the power of these great speakers like Steve is that they will encourage these young people to open up and write something down that is on their heart or something that they're struggling with, because Steve is going to read that card before he leaves the school. And this is just one example of the kind of cards that we read every day as a staff, right? And if you can't see that, this is an 8th grader in Michigan that said, I tried to kill myself by taking 20 pills because I felt that I wasn't meant for this world. We're able to get that student help. Young lady in Pennsylvania, 12th grader. This made my day so much better. This morning I was contemplating suicide in the bathroom, but too many people were in there. Please pray for my friend. Again, we were able to get her help. Here's a mom in Southeast Ohio who went on our website and shared the story of the impact that our pro made on her 14-year-old son. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but she says here, you may have saved a life for many. I cannot thank you enough. This is a testament to the power of the impact that these great speakers like Steve and these other athletes that have been supporting sports world bring to these young people. But what's going on here? I always like to look at what's going on in the community that we're speaking in. This is from the Des Moines Register. Iowa doctors report seeing a concerning increase in teen suicide attempts. This doctor specializes in adolescent medicine at Blank Children's Hospital right here. More concerning, the Iowa Poison Control Center has reported a considerable increase in 11 to 14-year-old girls swallowing medication in an effort to harm themselves. They're feeling alone and depressed. We got to do something. And it's not just here. It's where I live. It's everywhere. So what we're reading here is not unique. And it is a big problem that we need to get on top of. We do provide 7 by 2014 crisis chat. We know that chat service helped us to diffuse 316 suicides leading up to the pandemic. Rotary success story. We love Rotary success stories. We get to talk at a lot of Rotary clubs. We worked with the Dearborn Heights Rotary Club in Michigan. One of their board members' son committed suicide. They've been holding a golf outing to raise money because they wanted to find a program that they could support to get that message into the kids in their community that that's not the decision you need to make. So they funded one of our programs, and not only funded it, but their board members participated. They volunteered. They drove our pro to school. They helped read through those cards after the programs. They saw for themselves what their kids were going through, but then they realized that they were able to get them help. We talked to almost 8,000 students in 4 days with their help. Just a few pictures. The two people on the bottom are board members with the Dearborn Heights board. Some photos of some of our pictures, or pictures of our pros in the assemblies. And then we get to Iowa. Iowa's a big state for us. Every fall in Sioux City, we speak to 10,000 students every fall. Cedar Rapids, Davenport, Dubuque, Fairfield. I met with a gentleman in Burlington yesterday. We're gonna be in Burlington this fall. We haven't done a lot in Des Moines. We need to, and we would like to. So that's a big part of why we were so excited to come speak to you here. And I know I'm going kind of quick, but I want to be respectful of the time. So what are we looking for? We're just hoping that you'll help get involved. We don't have staff all over the country. We need volunteers. That's how we bring our program in. People realize how powerful and important it's going to be to get into their schools, so they rally, put a team of volunteers together, help us meet your school district, help us meet your principals and your superintendents so we can talk to them, so we can get them on the schedule. We can set a date to bring our pro in, either in person or virtually if we have to. We're community funded. We get a lot of businesses that'll contribute. It doesn't take a lot. We get several businesses give a little bit, and we've got enough to bring our program into your community. And then volunteers participate in the program and help us do what we do. Again, we're here for questions. I'm going to cut it off, right? Thank you.
Question if someone wants to come up.
Thank you very much for coming to Des Moines, speaking to the Rotary Club of Des Moines. Tell us a little bit about what it costs and how you get volunteers to participate.
The question for those of you that are virtual is about what the cost is to bring our program in and how to get people to volunteer. So the good news is our cost typically is about $10,000 to bring a pro in for 3 consecutive days, but we started a sponsorship program and we've got private donors that have sponsored people like Steve for the next 3 years. So that amount's just been cut in half. So if we can raise $4,000 or $5,000, it basically helps cover our insurance and travel and, you know, the marketing and things like that. It's not a lot for a guy like this to speak to thousands of kids over a 3-day period. Volunteers, that's easy. We look for one person that might take the lead. We call them a team captain, and we work with them to show them what it is that we need to have done, and they simply recruit some people that are willing to help, meaning drivers to drive the pro to the schools, maybe have lunch or dinner or breakfast with the pro, pick them up at a hotel, help getting them from the airport and back, things like that.
Thank you, Tim and Steve, for being with us today and sharing your very inspiring presentation with us. And we're donating the book, Babe Conquers the World, The Legendary Life of Babe Zaharis, to the Downtown School Library in your honor. And watching the football highlights there, I thought that was very similar to my high school football highlights. For those of you out there in the virtual world, there was thunderous laughter on that one. And also, I might say that, Steve, there were a few people in the back that thought all the linebackers that the Colts ever had were really soft. If you want me to point them out to you, I can do that for you. Thank you for being with us here today, whether in person or watching our live stream or later on our YouTube channel. Our upcoming speakers, next week, we have Jeff Delvo from Adventureland. I'm sure that'll be an interesting talk to hear how they've survived the pandemic. April 15th, one we always look forward to, the Educator of the Year Awards. And on April 22nd, from Capital Dispatch, we have Kathy Obradovich, who will be speaking with us. Again, thank you everyone for being here in person, being part of your Rotary Club of Des Moines. And for my theme for the year, as you all know, to leave something behind. And I think the 2 presenters here today have done an excellent job of sharing that with us, what they're leaving behind. And as Steve said, striving to make others better. And no better way to leave something behind than your life's work to do that. So with that, we are adjourned.